Jefferson Parish Fire Department honors one of its own after a long fight with cancer.
Jimmy Schexnayder served as a district chief for 33 years. A convoy today traveled from MD Anderson in Houston, where he was receiving treatment, and ended at Station 15 in Metairie. Jefferson Parish leaders say Schexnayder was an outstanding public servant and was one of the original members of the JPFD Urban Search and Rescue Team. Former co-workers remember him as uplifting and as a hard worker.
You were having a bad day, he was that guy. You came across him, you were laughing hysterically, you were in a good mood after. You weren't walking away in a bad mood after you hung out with Jimmy Schexnayder for a few minutes.
Schexnayder was also an LSU fire and emergency training instructor for many years.